Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So that's, oh, you don't need that? That's the agenda?
No, I got it on the,
Nope. Can you open it?
See what you did.
Oh, because they were talking over
I
there.
know. Don't worry about it.
I want to see that. You're right. Mhm. I'd like to call the Special Commission on Veterans Affairs to order for a regular meeting for Tuesday, December 23rd. It is about 4:31. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll call?
Chair Pishardo,
Present.
Anthony Alves,
Present.
Officer Ianucci,
Present.
Kasim Yarn.
Present.
We have 4 present, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much, and really appreciate you all taking the time. And welcome once again after Thanksgiving. Hope everyone enjoyed their time with their families and friends. Just wanted to review our agenda for today. We're going to be hearing from Patricia from our policy office. I know present with us is also Deputy Chief of Staff Aaron. And the first item on the agenda would be updates on recent HUD policy changes regarding veterans disability benefits calculation and income eligibility expansion that Patricia wanted to share with us, and then we'll go into some of the discussion that we've had regarding veterans benefits for the veterans here in the city of Providence and potential legislation or
Someone thought that was funny, Councilman.
there you go. That we can be working on and perhaps present something in the legislative year. And then the third item, discussion relative to the objectives and future topics of the commission. So I wanted to thank everyone and welcome first our new member to the commission, Operation Director.
Deputy Director of Public Property.
Deputy Director of Public Property, Mr. Alves, also a veteran, served, was appointed to the commission and took his seat on November 7th when we held our veterans event, which was well attended, and also had the opportunity to honor Barnaby Evans, who for I believe 14 years have been doing the water fire honoring our veterans in the city of Providence. And someone that I know and someone that I've appreciated over the years as a public servant. We also had our commission member, but also director, state director, Kasim Yarn Kasim, right? who also provided remarks and also doing a wonderful job out in the state, getting to every corner of our state and supporting our veterans. I know that I followed him, or at least I tried to follow him to a couple of events over the Veterans Weekend. And we also participated with a veterans luncheon put on by Meals on Wheels in the city of Providence. That was the first one. I know that the director and the Meals on Wheels have had several of those, and perhaps you can talk a little bit about that. And really appreciate your remarks during our annual event here at the city of Providence, and also your service. And then lastly, we also heard from Congressman Gabe Amel, who we had the honor to have him as our congressman here in the first district. And he's opened the door for us to collaborate and work together to improve serving our veterans here in the city of Providence and also in the congressional delegation of the first congressional delegation, along with also the state of Rhode Island. I mean, we have a strong congressional delegation that is pro veterans and pro family, and I think that we have a superb congressional delegation. So with that said, I don't know if director would like to say a few words regarding the events, and I know he's been circling around the state.
No, Mr.
Any
Thank you so
news?
much for the opportunity, here to serve, so,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
and also appreciate your calendar online. I've seen the work that has been put by your staff. And notably, our former communication director, Parker, making you look good, and all of us as veterans. So if you haven't seen
Check the calendar.
yeah, you gotta check that calendar and also the website, which is, what's your website?
vets.ri.gov.
Yeah.
That's
So
easy.
that's an easy one. So check out that website for upcoming events and how the veterans are being supported. So welcome, Joe, once again. And this time I would have Patricia from our policy to talk a little bit about that. She wanted to share some of the changes that have been implemented, I believe. So Sonia.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm Trisha. I work in the city council policy office. Aaron is deputy chief of staff, but he's also the director of policy, just.
Aaron, join us. I mean, you still have a chair open.
But, yeah, so these actually were back in August, but, I know we haven't officially met since then, so that's why, I'm giving the updates now, but basically, federal government updated, veterans disability benefit calculations. So that, HUD bash applicants, they basically, they have an alternative definition of your annual income, which excludes, veterans service-connected disability benefits, so it doesn't count that as income. So it basically will allow a lot more veterans to be able to apply for the program and get housing. There's also an income eligibility expansion, so, public housing agencies that are administering the program, the HUD VASH program, they must now set the initial income eligibility for veterans at 80% of the area median income instead of 50%. So again, it just allows much more people to apply for, many more veterans to apply for the program and get the program's benefits. So, yeah, those are the two main updates from that.
Right, thank you. Aaron, would you like to add anything to that?
The only thing I could add is that, obviously, when we were planning to speak on these things, it was, a little bit before the election, an election happened, elections have consequences. But given that this is an exemption for veterans, I think that this is something that both sides of the aisle can be supportive of. So I feel confident that this will hold even with the new administration coming in. So it's the only comment I would have on it.
Right, thank you. I know at the state level, I don't know if the director has any comments on that or any
I have no
news regarding.
I echo those sentiments as
eligibility?
well, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, very good. So going into the next item has been about providing some type of increased exemptions for the veterans in the city of Providence. And lastly, we've met with the tax assessor and she clarified a couple of things for us because we were under the assumption that another understanding, but I think Aaron is going to clarify that. But currently, the city of Providence veterans are only receiving about $153 for their exemption.
Is that based off of a percentage?
Yeah,
Like the percentage of the value of the
property.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Aaron is gonna go into a little bit of
Because there should be also a difference between like a
property value versus.
like regular veteran status
Mhm.
and somebody who's like 100%
100%.
disabled. There should be two different.
Yeah, there
Scenarios.
is. So the tax assessor and Aaron.
So
Yeah.
let's hear from Aaron. And you could address this question.
Yeah, I'm gonna address that directly. I think that for regular veterans that are not 100% fully disabled, the average exemption that they've been getting is just $153 off of their property tax bill. But when it comes to those that are 100% disabled, I believe the number was they were getting $307 off, which, as I see it, is not sufficient for the veterans, in our city. So right now, we are working with the administration and talking about the legislative package that is going to go before the General Assembly.
Mhm.
And I think it's just been determined that rather than try to decide an amount with the assessor, like right now that we would put at the state level as the max exemption Providence could give, that we are actually drafting language that would just leave it to the city of Providence and allow the council to decide on the exemption that, we would like to provide for veterans in the city. And that would apply to just veterans and then fully disabled veterans. So what happens is we're gonna have a bill, but the bill is gonna offer a lot of flexibility for the city. If we are successful at having it passed at the state level, which I believe we will, because this is something that the council and the administration are gonna be supportive of, and it's our own internal finances. So when we come on the same page like that, they generally kick it to us and allow us to do that. So once that does pass, then that would give the council the authority to move forward and set the amount to however we would like to see fit. So that's where we had left off. And but we don't have the language yet, but that is going to be the approach come this January.
Yeah.
So
Is there an estimated number of vets we have in the city?
estimated number, I did have the spreadsheet. Trisha, do you actually
I have the
have that?
list here, it's like
Yeah.
60 pages.
Yeah, so I don't have the exact number here. I did have it, but we do. And maybe 3 meetings ago, maybe back, it might have been June or so, the assessor did provide this for us. So I do not have the exact number, but Mr. Alves, I can actually share this with you. We just have the list of everyone that's receiving the veterans benefit here in the city. I imagine that it's a couple of hundred, but I just don't have the number. right
Yeah,
now.
well, no, I was just curious because, I mean, when you look at how many regular type veterans as opposed to 100% disabled veterans,
Mhm.
and then you look at what their exemption is, and then you look at the real number in total,
Mhm.
is it really a big burden to the city,
No,
to-
exactly.
to change that?
I understand what you're saying. So basically, you're saying that, if we have a handle on the, number of 100% disabled veterans, and it's a low number, I mean, no matter what the exemption, we may decide to do so, it may not be a big hit, to the, city's tax levy. So I agree with you there.
And
Yeah.
I just add to, in the meeting with the mayor's administration, they also said that, it would be great for the commission to give testimony at the state level as well, with the mayor when they present it to the legislature. So things like that would help too.
So I know that in previous meetings, we were being also represented at the table by the Associate City Solicitor Suzanne Sodnick, who's moved on now to the state level, working on veterans, I believe is she has a I believe on the veterans service end for the state level. And so currently we have now City Solicitor Adia.
Municipal Integrity Officer.
Municipal Integrity Officer.
Rosa Ernest Perry.
Okay, so we gotta make sure that we have that clear in the notes too. And so she had provided some insight in terms of her research, in terms of what kind of exemption throughout the state veterans were receiving, including whether it's Burrowville or North Kingstown, South Kingstown, as the director had indicated. And we're looking and had the conversation with the mayor and myself and also with the staff. They're very open, as you just heard. I think the best way for us to pursue that is to change the law, as Suzanne, the city solicitor, had indicated, giving us the authority. One of the new ones that if you haven't heard, is that our city finances are, for the next fiscal year, is going to be very challenging due to the fact that we came into an agreement with the Providence Public School Systems that we have to provide more additional funds to the school system. So the mayor has been quoted and also shared with us that at a certain point, we as a city have to be before the General Assembly to ask for a tax increase greater than what is allowed at the state level. But we know that it's a very trying time for the taxpayers in the city of Providence. So within those discussions, we're going to continue to see how much more we can provide to veterans, more than $153. And that's why one of the reasons why I brought it up from the beginning, because knowing that in other cities, they're very generous with their veterans. And here in the city of Providence, again, we only get $153. And so that's going to be ongoing discussion among the administration, also with us, knowing that we are advocating for that type of increase due to their service and also their commitment to our city. So as soon as we we have some language and it's gonna be submitted to change to give us the ability to increase those rates. We will share it with you. And it is through the advocacy of this commission that we've been able to do that. Mike Napolitano, who is the legislative liaison to the city council, and myself and Aaron and Patricia have been working and will be working on those legislation to make sure that when we go before the General Assembly, I will be there, but I certainly will share with you if you'd like to join me and join us when we go up to the State House. I know the director is always up there advocating for us, so he will be in the wings, making sure that his voice is loudly heard. You had a question?
Yeah, question. So when you were doing your research, what was the top exemptions throughout the state?
So my colleague who moved on to the state level, Susanna, did the research. She shared the memo with me, but she did not provide any
Oh,
other
gotcha.
documentation.
So I'm,
but
makes you a little curious to know
I'm
who's
still-
doing more.
I'm still in touch with Susanna, so I can get back to you on your question.
I can also jump in and say that while I'm not sure we have it now, but in a previous, commission meeting, I think we did create a, spreadsheet that just gave the amounts for each municipality. So I think we did submit it before, but I just don't physically have it now, but we did have that list and I can make sure that we share that with you. In addition to the list of, actual veterans here in the city, we can make sure we get that to you.
It'd be good to know where we stand amongst
The
The other
other municipalities,
municipalities.
right, absolutely.
And that tax assessor's last name, Aaron
Muscatelli,
Muscatelli.
Janice Muscatelli.
She sent us that documentation. So
She,
I
well,
believe so.
Janice sent us, the list of the veterans within
Mhm.
the city. But I think it was the policy team who
Yeah.
just combed through, the state law that had, the amounts itemized in a spreadsheet that we had.
Yeah, so,
So
sorry.
that,
I was just gonna say, so under Rhode Island general laws, if your municipality is not, expressly like legislated as what they can give an exemption for, I think it's like the base exemption you're allowed to give is $3,000. And then, there's a couple different municipalities, that are specified in the general laws. So like Burville is $4,000, Newport is 4,000. Burville is 4,000, Newport is 4,000, North Kingstown is 10,000. So I have the list, I can send that to you, the ones that are.
Yeah.
specified.
what we're gonna do is provide a package well prepared, so that way we all have it as a folder with all that information, because if we just send individual, we'll prepare just an outline,
Mhm.
so our members can have it.
Yeah,
as
all,
research items.
exactly, all
Right.
documents that,
Mhm.
given, as a new member, and it's just always good to have these things, but all of the items that we had compiled before, we can certainly put them in a, package for all members, certainly.
Right. Any other questions, comments on that?
I'm gonna hold mine. We just wanna see how it goes out and I'm just gonna wait and see.
Good.
Cause I have ideas on how I feel how some things should go, but I understand finance. I understand bills and tax raises and all these increases. I get it all. But veterans are 1% who serve of this country. They didn't cause any of this. They didn't cause the debacle of the last 20-25 years of failures. I don't think we should put a price on what we can do for veterans, the 1%. When we've got over 50% in this city that don't pay nothing. Man, we got people with no arms, no legs, blind, crippled.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where my thoughts are, and I'm sorry, I think someone that's 100% disabled shouldn't have to pay a dime on a property tax. I think people with percentages of disabilities, their taxes should be rated according to their disability. That's my feelings. There's not a lot of us, it's 1%. I'm sure we can do something when we do leaps and bounds for people who have more than enough money
Correct.
to pay their fair share.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. And that's why we're gonna press on to make sure that and understanding that budgets are budgets, and everybody comes to the table
And,
and
and I
asks
know it's
for
a
their,
process,
right,
but we need to see the full picture,
right.
you know?
And, the
You get a guy in
positive,
a wheelchair, and I'm sorry,
yeah,
they're not getting nowhere near
right.
what they should be getting.
And that's why, we're gonna be at the table, and that's why we established the commission to ensure that, which this one didn't exist, that, now we're going to be on the table, with the administration, along even at the state level. And the director needs us as a city to go advocate for more, than what he's also, augment, his advocacy at the state level. We're ready and able to do so, because, we feel strongly about the service and commitment that veterans and their families have provided throughout the year. So thank you for those comments on that. Now, moving on to discussion on regarding future topics and objectives of the commission for just a nuance in terms of being a new member to the commission. Overall, the mission and objective of the commission is to advocate strongly for how can we best serve our Providence veterans here. You just witnessed pretty much 10 months of, well, it's been already almost a year, I believe. Yeah, almost a year of this commission coming together. And it is, to hold our annual Veterans event here in the city, especially in the city chamber of council, which we've done now for the second time. That hasn't been done people can't even remember when if it was done ever. The other is looking at how, from providing an exemption or additional benefit to veterans, reducing their taxes, and how can we actually provide more services and that we can identify and implement here in the city of Providence. If we were to compare other services being provided by municipality, which we haven't gone into, I think that that's something that in the future we can explore more. Our goal and my goal and our goal is to eventually to have dedicated and within the city a personnel dealing with veterans, coordinating veterans services. While we have in the city of Providence, being the capital city, we have the Veterans Administration here. We have the state capitol. We're represented. Your office director, is in Providence or
Warwick.
in Warwick? Okay, so we can't claim that one.
No, you can't.
Yeah, so for over the years, I know I've also, and many of us take it for granted that we have all these services here through the VA and also the State House. But in the capital city, as a municipality, we have come short in my opinion. And so it is the objective to identify resources and eventually have some type of support system for veterans and families.
Well, knowing that we have a list, a somewhat list of people in the city, I mean, I think outreach would be important.
Right. And so, absolutely. And then also, it is one of my goals, and I've stated it is to eventually, hopefully we can have a Veterans Parade in the city of Providence. Where, but we're trying to work towards that.
Should pick a main street every year.
That's right.
We got 15 wards. Every ward has a main street. So pick go right through the numbers every year. That way everybody gets a little bit of it.
So, so we have to work on that objective and see how we can get it done and do the first one. We've indicated that we started moving in this direction. One of the key things is also reaching out to and working with our congressional leadership. At the national level, we are represented by different organizations, and I've spoken to all four of them, and they're whether it's Senator Jack Reed, Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Gabe Amo, and Magaziner, they have a representative and they're willing to also work with us and improving the services in the city of Providence. So that's pretty much, encompasses what we're here to do. And I know that over the year now, we've have identified a couple of things that we have done, right? And that is, and you, I participated in one of the events that you provided some leadership, and that was the right way of burning the flags of the.
We had I asked the administration if we could hold a Flag Day event / ceremony. Due to the mayor's schedule with high school graduations, we moved it a week, I think it was a week after or a week prior. And I got the Boy Scouts from Providence to join with us. We held a flag retirement ceremony. Proper, we had a lot of speeches. We went through the whole ceremony. It was actually a really good ceremony. First one, even if it's the only one, it was a really good ceremony.
Yeah, so what I think that we can incorporate a couple of events that as we can participate in the city of Providence, also sort of support. It's if you're going to continue doing that we can be part of that. The same thing with the annual veterans event in our state capital here. While we're working on the other items of how to best serve and bring some resources, and then the last thing is to see how we in the next year that we can start planning out, figuring out how we can get a parade going. So with that said, one of the other events that I thought that we can be part of and support is and figure out how we can do it. It's during the Memorial Day week. One of the things that I've noticed in the city of Providence is that the memorial squares are fading away. There's no even the signs are need to be replaced. This year one of the memorial on Broad Street, which is Trinity, is called Trinity Square. We replaced that flag that was in terrible shape for months, and we finally did that. So those kind of things I would like to see us work towards, see how we can replace some of these memorial squares in our different wards in the city of Providence, but also enhancing them with flags and so forth. So that way people are not forgotten, but also families can really feel appreciated in terms of that their sons and daughters have served, and also recognize the fact that others have served before them and that they will never be forgotten. So if you're in favor of doing those things, one is the memorial, what I just mentioned, replacement, working towards replacing pretty much all of them, figuring out how much that's going to cost, but we'll figure out by ward and putting out and replacing flags. The other is the veterans event, and anything else that you feel like we should focus on? I know that we did also a luncheon for the city of Providence veterans, and I don't know if the director, you have any plans of doing some stuff here?
There has to be funding associated with that.
Yeah,
And so I would ask who's the funding stream and the source
yeah.
for those type of ventures too in that regard too as well. So I think that call while run here. And I think to take a look at the strategic approach in terms of aligning what the fiscal requirements are for the residents, to send that message and taking a look at what the other cities are doing.
Yeah.
And that'll kind of dictate where we are and what our next steps are in that space.
Yeah. Perhaps you could help us out in terms of as you're doing the luncheon, what would a budget like bringing partnerships and to do that? I know that we went through it with Meals on Wheels and what that budget looked like. So that way I could get a pretty good idea of what a budget for the year is gonna be, to get this done. Because what I like to do is work on that along with our policy people. But also, go door knocking at congressional level. Knowing that we're gonna be, asking our city budgets to figure out how we can also represent our veterans, but also how do we tap into other foundation money and our congressional money. I know that we have a transition with the new presidency, but I'm hopeful that we all know that things at times we have to figure out how to make things work for our residents and so forth. So, all right.
Just want to add, for Trinity Square, from a city perspective, we did some landscaping over there. We were able to get the monument shifted over to where it should be because it was skewed. So from a city perspective, we're able to spruce it up a little bit. And I think identifying locations that are hard hit that, really need help, we can work with Parks and DPW and work out some schedules to kind of
Yeah.
take a look and see what we can do to kind of build it back up a little bit.
Yeah. In addition to that, I think the archives office, Caleb, is a good asset to identify these
The families.
families, but also where they're located.
Hmm.
And so we're gonna be able to identify those too.
So Trinity Square was for, his last name was Bucci, I
Mhm.
believe. So I believe Caleb was able to find some remaining family members.
Yeah.
Which were invited to the flag raising,
Yeah,
which was nice.
I did, I reached out to him and I spoke to him, couldn't be there that day.
Hmm.
And he's wanted to stay involved. And he's traveling out of town, but he really appreciated the fact that we were doing that. So I think that we're gonna get more of the family members and bring that pride to Providence and knowing, sending the message that we honor and we respect veterans and their families. So all right. With that said, I know that for a meeting dates, we had looked at that we were going to have meetings at 4:30. It looks like this is a good time still. And it was, I know we had to shift the date to, was it Tuesday or Thursday that we were meeting, or is this the Tuesday?
It was Thursday.
So I know today's Tuesday,
Yeah.
and it was because we couldn't meet or somewhere. So does the Thursday or Tuesday work still at 4:30? Which one would you prefer? So that way we can schedule. And I believe that, was it the third Thursday that we were going to, no, what was the, or was it the first Thursday?
Second, the third.
Second Thursday?
So the second Thursday in January is going to be the 9th.
So we're
We're
looking
doing
at,
Tuesday, so what are we doing Tuesday or Thursday, do we decide?
So Tuesday would be the 7th. We have the 7th or the 9th in January.
does it,
Makes no difference to me.
Joe,
Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Sure.
Well, Tuesday then, so
Seven.
versus the Thursday, so the 7th of January.
At 4:30.
Well, let me check my calendar.
Absolutely.
Give me one
Yeah.
second, please.
Doesn't work.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we're looking at, so we're looking January
7th.
7th at 4:30 PM. Then we're looking at February 11th. So for planning purposes, same time, second Tuesday,
Second Tuesday.
is that what it is? Right?
If the Tuesday is working.
Yeah, the 11th. Then we're looking at March 11th. April 8th. And then we're looking at, May 13th. So we'll set it for those months, and then we'll play it for the remaining of the year. Aaron?
Yeah, I was just taking notes. I just wanted to be sure of the date that you had set for February. Did you also say February 11th and March 11th?
Is
February
that,
11th, March 11th.
yes,
All right, perfect. I just thought I got it.
and April 8th and March 13th. All right,
May 13th.
May-
Yeah.
May 13th.
Yeah.
any other comments,
Motion to adjourn.
suggestions? There is a motion to adjourn, seconded by Commissioner Alves and Commissioner Iannucci. All those in favor?
All right.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Have a blessed holiday Christmas, everyone.
You as
You
well
too.
have a
You as
safe
well.
one.
All right.